Welcome back to Ring Bell Radio. I'm Chris Bates. Back if you're watching on YouTube, it's probably later in the week. If you're here with us live, we're back for our third little piece of business. Mr. Sauce Boss, what's happening, brother? How are you? What's going on? You okay? Surely you
Oh,
are. I haven't talked to you in like forever.
yeah, I'm doing great. I'm freaking thriving over here. I'm ready to talk about some WrestleMania. Let me see if I can get a good graphic for the people out there. There we go. WrestleMania 39. I want to talk some real wrestling, Chris. Can we?
I'm here
Can
for it. Yeah, we sure can, and I do not apologize for my views and opinions because I've got probably some saucy takes on several different topics within professional wrestling right now.
well, here I'll throw the warning up before we get started today, just for everybody. This is the
Yes,
stolen from
definitely need that today.
stolen from South Park. So before we get really saucy on, we're going to be talking WWE and AEW because I think they go hand in hand at this point. But where do we want to begin with this? I know, we've got the third leg of our tripod is missing here, but he's going to be back any second now. I believe it.
Yeah, we can start with, and I know we're a little late to the party with some of the discussion, but Mania. We can talk about the Mania and the fallout of over the last couple of weeks, and just how much trash booking has been uh, overall. I think the biggest story, obviously, was Cody not leaving with the championship. And I don't know, man. I hate to say it, but I'm about fed up with Roman Reigns on top. I think that something's got to happen, and I get it. We're
Wait,
telling
wait, wait,
stories.
wait.
Goddamn,
Can you say that one more time for me?
it's
Just
time for Roman Reigns to take a piss and somebody else to get a shot here because it's it's run its course. It has been run its course. And legitimately, in my opinion, the only thing that's made the bloodline remotely entertaining is Jey Uso and Sami Zayn, not Roman Reigns, not Solo. Solo's, I mean, there's things that can happen here, but I think that decision to keep the belt on Reigns is one that left me scratching my head. But it's one that is obviously still in process here. And we have our third party. He's back. He's John Cable. What's up, man? We're talking a little WrestleMania real quick before, and a little bit of a booking post Mania. But welcome back.
Thank you, thank you. It's good to be back.
So yeah, it's the elephant in the room. The bigger deal was the Monday night after. Um, I don't know why we have went Brock Lesnar, Cody. Outside of maybe Reigns not working the pay per view. I don't know. Uh,
well,
That shot of Vince is horrible, by the way.
but Chris, you're leaving out one very important element of the whole
that
equation, and this cannot be it cannot be understated. The WWE was sold minutes after WrestleMania,
yes.
and if you don't think that that was a part of the results, then you were dead wrong. So
Oh
just to
no, I get it.
just to fill people in, the Endeavor Company, is that what it's called? Endeavor Incorporated, Endeavor
Yep.
LLC. Um, that's the parent company of the UFC and probably some other brands. I don't know if Power Slap is in there, but now they have purchased WWE from Vince, so they have a majority control. I don't believe they have all the shares. So not Saudi Arabia, Endeavor, which I had never heard of before, and now moving forward, it seems like they're going in a different direction.
I knew that Vince was going to sell to whoever was going to keep him in charge or give him power or let him maintain some sort of authority.
Which is why we saw
regard-
what we saw right before WrestleMania and into WrestleMania.
For sure. There's a lot of moving parts here. Again, at the end of the day, we have Vince McMahon now, who looks like the mistress of Cruella DeVille. Looking for your Dalmatian on television, kissing ass and sucking up, and it's just, I don't know, it's a shitty situation to be in. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen next with the WWE's product, but I know that night 2 of WrestleMania was lesser than night 1, and the fallouts and the follow-ups have not been stellar. You could tell Vince was in the chair on Raw after WrestleMania. It was a terrible, terrible show.
That's what I've heard. Now, I don't watch Raw because, in general, I think it's a trash product.
That's just it. Like, I don't either. I don't watch it all, but there's one Raw that I will watch, and that's the Raw after Mania.
Because
Why?
that one is notoriously insane.
There's
Why?
usually fallout. There's usually surprises. There's people coming back. The NXT call-ups. Like, there's all kinds of interesting things that happen on that show. And the biggest thing that I saw, or that I get as a watcher of 3 hours of television, is Matt fucking Riddle. I'm okay. I'll pass. I won't do that again.
Bro. So you don't like Matt Riddle. Okay, so it makes a little bit of sense, right? That the show after Mania is a big show because is the event held in the same city that Mania is held in? Are you getting the same crowd?
The smaller arena. They were I guess I'm not sure what the
a smaller arena but same city, so the crowd's still in town. Yeah,
right. So that's part of the ticket package. If I remember correctly, I was lined up to buy tickets for Mania one year. I know, shocker, right? But as part of that, you got tickets to TakeOver. You got tickets to night 1, night 2, and then I don't know if SmackDown was part of that, but then you got the Raw afterwards. So it was like 4 nights of wrestling, and it's the same crowd, and these are your super fans, right? These are the marks. They're drinking the Kool-Aid. They will pay any amount of money just to be fed bullshit, and they will smile while they're eating it. So it's a great crowd for wrestling. I mean, you could roll anybody out there and the crowd would still be hot. So that's partially why I think some of those Raws are very, very good, and why it's even more surprising that this one was so bad. I don't get it. You got Vince back in gorilla position, less than 6 months after firing both of his kids. He's just the ultimate villain. It's terrible. I mean, I know I hate on WWE a lot, but when you see stuff like that, it's so demoralizing. It just crushes any hope you have for the company.
Trash.
So
I didn't really have a lot of hope for it in the first place. So
we're talking about the takeaway from Mania, but I think there are a lot of good things that came out of the show. I'd like to start from the beginning and just kind of talk about some of these things. Did you guys watch both nights? Did you watch any of it?
I watched all of night 1 and most of night 2.
Yeah, same here. John?
So I treated this like I always treat wrestling, and I watched clips and YouTube videos.
Gotcha. All right, so the decision was to lead off with Austin Theory versus John Cena. And John Cena comes out with the Make-A-Wish Foundation kids and takes the pin in the only person watching that thought that Austin could actually win after having all those kids rolled out there. But, I mean, they went out there and
I called it. I knew when he brought him out. When he brought him out, they're not pivoting. Cena's not going to be around. there's a reason why they went on first.
I mean, those
He had
poor
to fly
kids. Imagine if you're a kid, you're on that show, and this is the greatest moment of your life, and then John Cena loses, and then you have to go home disappointed because your guy got beat, and it wasn't.
You're saying that Make a Wish sucked here because their hero lost.
I mean, I'm not saying that they caused him to lose.
I didn't say that either. I said you're. Never mind.
I hope that none of those kids had degenerative heart failure.
Wow, I'm trying to tiptoe around that, but thank you, John, for just jumping right in the deep end.
That's what I do, and you know this.
Those poor kids. I mean, you don't bring the kids out unless their hero's going to win. It just seemed wrong, and I hate John Cena.
Well, I think that's part of the deal with Make a Wish is they do bring out every year a handful of kids whose wish is to attend WrestleMania. So it's not like they're not there every year. They are. But with John Cena being, I guess, what he's granted more wishes than any other WWE talent.
Period.
Like it's not even close.
Yeah.
But I feel like was kind of like they kind of got a double deal there because they got to get out to WrestleMania, and you're not gonna Cena's not gonna go to an event and know that there are Make-A-Wish kids there and not go speak to them and not go talk to them.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So overall, I don't think that their experience is going to be dampered by a loss, because what's to say that Cena didn't agree to come in and do the match, and they would have still been there regardless, but they wouldn't have gotten that extra opportunity. I mean, I don't know. It depends on how you look at it, I guess. Or when you put when I put logic behind it.
So can I interrupt you there?
Sure.
The complaint that I have about this match is not the match or the result. It's maybe the placement of it. Opening up Mania with that match kind of knocked the wind out of the room after Cena gets pinned, because not only do you have those kids there, which are disappointed, you've got a lot of Cena marks in that building that were there, and Cena was the guy for their entire childhood. And now their guy gets beat, and which kind of sucks. It's sad to see your heroes die, and it feels like that this is it for Cena. It feels like a passing of the torch to Austin, who I like Austin Theory.
What better way building Austin Theory as a heel, though?
I still don't see him as a heel because I hate John Cena, but I like Austin Theory a lot. I'm glad that he retained. Don't get me wrong. It just, to me, I would have rather had that be the second match instead of the first, because the second match was a real banger of a match. It was very, very good.
That one surprised me. It exceeded my expectations.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of lazy booking, right? They said, well, shoot. I mean, we've got a bunch of guys here with nothing to do at Mania, so let's just throw them all in a match and make it for nothing. Nothing's at stake here. And it was probably, no, it wasn't match of the night, but it would have been a much better booking had it been the first match of the card instead of just sandwiched in there after Cena goes down. So that was the four-way match between the Street Profits, Braun Strowman and Ricochet, Alpha Academy, Viking Raiders.
Right.
It was an entertaining
Chris,
match.
Chris, didn't you say the Street Profits were going to take the win?
No, that was me. I picked that one.
Oh, was it you? Okay.
Yeah.
I knew it wasn't me. I knew.
No, you picked. I think you picked Ricochet and Strowman, and Chris had taken the Viking Raiders. And I wanted to be different, so I took the Profits. But that was just pure luck. Anybody could have won that one, and it would have still felt like a win for everybody in attendance.
Oh, that's right. This is the pick that you chose based on diversity.
Yes, it was, but I was wrong about that too. So we'll get to that in a little bit. The next match, Seth freaking Rollins and Logan Paul. Gross, Logan Paul. I still can't believe that he's in the WWE.
I mean, he's a
match was better than I
natural,
thought it
though.
was
He's
gonna
good
be.
at it, yeah. But like I said, Rollins carried, like, as much as Logan does well in the ring and as much as he looks good in there, Rollins absolutely carried him in that match. Like, it was Rollins' ring expertise, Rollins' knowledge, Rollins' work that made that match so good. And it was good, no question.
Yeah, I mean, Rollins could wrestle a mannequin and make it a good
Absolutely.
match.
Yeah. I mean, he could absolutely take the Perry Saturn position and not even worry about it.
Tell me this. Am I the only guy who thought that the guy inside the mascot uniform, the giant prime bottle, was 100% Jake Paul?
I mean,
totally
it might
thought
have
was.
been. Yeah.
I totally thought it was. I called it out. And I was wrong.
It was, so it turns out to be KSI, which was such a disappointment. Like, oh, that guy? Ugh, fine. It is what it is.
I
Next.
didn't know who it was until they explained it.
I knew exactly who it was when I saw him because I'm a bit of a YouTube geek, but it's not somebody that I enjoy very much. So, I mean, the guy's in great shape, and he certainly hammed it up for the camera. He played the cowardly heel type character, so he did fine. And the match was good. I can't complain. I can't complain about any of it. I hate everybody. I don't like anybody that was involved in the match. That's the only way to put it.
I thought that they exceeded expectations,
Yeah.
to be perfectly honest. So I didn't have a problem with it.
I wouldn't say they exceeded my expectations. I expected that match to be good. I think we all expected that match to be good. Rollins was in the ring and he had room to work. So I think realistically, we wanted the match to be good. We expected it to be that way, and it delivered on its promise.
Okay, let's. Yes, I agree. The next match was the 6-woman match. Is that what do we call it? A 6-woman match? 6-man match? 6-man tag? 6-woman tag? Between the current women's tag champions, Becky Lynch and Lita, also with Trish Stratus versus Damage Control, and we all got that one wrong.
Yeah, we did.
Well, we did, but this is again saucy take. I thought that this was the second worst match of the entire weekend.
It was bad. It was bad. And, well, I'm just gonna say it. I could not stop looking at the body enhancements of Trish Stratus in that match. She looked very uncomfortable the entire match. I mean, she's had some work done. I don't know how you can wrestle like that, but
Yeah, I watched the what was it? The Trish Stratus and Lita match that was posted the other day. And I was thinking, I was like, wow, Trish Stratus looks way different than she does now.
yeah,
We watched it. It hasn't been posted yet.
Yeah, I mean, the match. I was glad when the match was over, and I was sad that Damage Control lost. All right, so
I was too, and it leads me to believe that the rumors of Bailey wanting her release are true. I don't see why you beat Bailey at WrestleMania. Becky Lynch again. You have two other viable people. If you're gonna take Damage Control down, sacrifice the mouthpiece for it.
We talked about this, that Damage Control, that those 3 women are fine individually, and together they don't really gain anything. They're neither better nor worse together. So, we kind of talked ourselves out of booking them to win there, because they're all very good, and they didn't need to win.
But they didn't need the win. Yeah, they didn't need it.
Yeah.
I called Trish Stratus turning heel on her team, and
Yeah,
although it
you
didn't
did.
happen there, it happened a couple of weeks later.
Yes, you did. It happened on Raw, right? It
Past
happened
week, yeah.
two days after, or was it a week after? I
Or
forget.
the week after. It was the week after.
So in the chat here, they're saying, let's not forget about what Seth Rollins was wearing during his match. I mean, he looked like he was straight out of the Grammys. I don't even know what to call what he was wearing. It was hot pink and neon red, and it was horrible. He looked like the devil himself. It was something. It was Seth Rollins being Seth Rollins, I guess.
Yep.
There was a video that was going out afterwards of he was getting ready to enter to make his entrance. That Becky was kissing him backstage right at the entry place, and she was like, "I'm so fucking jealous." It's like, I told you it was going to be over the top. I told you it was going to be just crazy. And there it was. It was so he was definitely trying to go all out. It was a hard miss for me and a hard pass on the attire, but yeah, I did laugh, and if that's what he wanted, he got that reaction.
I think he's the only guy on the roster that could pull that off. And
No, I think there's a few on the roster that could and would, but I think that he often does so. Like, I think that's his thing.
yeah.
A lot of people did, Toddy.
And
a lot of people hated it.
Because of that, I was fine with it. I was just fine with it. The next match, Rey Mysterio versus Dominic Mysterio, which I didn't want to enjoy it, but I really did enjoy it. I thought it was damn good.
I mean, I love Dominic Mysterio's character right now, and I just think that he's playing it up nicely. He is a heel that you want to punch in the face. You want to see someone kick the shit out of him. And that is to me, that's what you look for as a heel when you're in this role. He didn't have, it wasn't a 5-star by any means, but it was a damn good match, and it was a really good showing, and there was a really good story being told. They got the incorporation of Bad Bunny, so they got that rub off of the celebrity appearance and the involvement in the match. I love the fact that Ray took a spot and started whipping Dominic Mysterio in the ring.
Oh, I didn't like that. I didn't like that part.
I thought it was hilarious because, you're a kid. I don't know about you guys. When I was growing up, if I acted up, I got my ass beat. So it took me back to like woodshed days where hold on to a tree or hold on to a post and don't flinch. My parents used to have a belt called Softy, a real thick leather belt, and it was nothing. It was not soft. It was nothing nice to play with.
So there you go. There's your screenshot.
There you go, right there. Where just woodshedded him. Great.
So there's a couple things that were going on in this. The Great Muta gets inducted into the Hall of Fame, and Ray's mask is a tribute to the Great Muta. There's no laces on the backside of the mask, which is why the mask looked a lot different than what he normally wears. I think he also was driven to the ring by Snoop Dogg.
Yes.
Which is the first of 3 appearances by Snoop over the weekend.
Well, not only was he driven to the ring by Snoop, he was driven to the ring by Snoop in Eddie's car.
I thought it was Snoop's car.
No, that was Eddie's car.
Is that it? I think that's it.
Yeah, that was Eddie's car. Yeah.
Well, it's a beautiful car.
That's like Eddie Guerrero's ride.
It's like metallic copper. It's very nice. So this story has a lot of things going on. You now have the LWO making a return, which I love. I love the LWO back in the day, and I'm all for it. You've got Rey Mysterio doing the tribute to Eddie, to the Great Muta. You've got him getting his son over. And now in the future, Vicky Guerrero has been released by AEW, and she wants to be involved in this storyline as well. So a storyline which I thought was over doesn't appear to be over. Rey Mysterio goes into the Hall of Fame that weekend, wrestles, and gets a win.
Listen, can we skip that part where she gets involved? Because if I have to hear her voice one more fucking moment.
Excuse me?
Yeah, you heard me. Excuse me! No, shut up.
I don't know that she's going to bring that. I know that's her catchphrase, but all she has to do is be Eddie Guerrero's widow, and she automatically gets.
She gets nothing.
She gets love from the crowd, right? Because now
she does not get love from the crowd.
But
she does not.
Well, so here's the added twist. Now there's this massively controversial story about Vicky Guerrero and her new husband and sexual assault allegations on a cruise, and now it's super muddy and disgusting, right? Which is part of the reason why AEW cut ties with her. And she's got no bookings anywhere right now because she is nuclear. But if WWE has taught you anything,
she's nuclear, or you can say it's because she has no value.
Yes, you could say that.
I mean, you could. Not that I'm saying that. I would, but not that I am.
I mean, WWE would bring her back, though. I thought Logan Paul was nuclear. And they booked that guy. They signed him to a second year to his contract. So, I mean, they'll take anybody if it gets heat, if it makes money. They don't care. And right now, adding her to that story would make it go, would make it continue.
Why? I hate that makes sense.
Okay, are you done, John?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So, Guerrero possibly get involved. Next.
Not feeling that, huh? Okay.
I'm for it. I think that her involvement would be fun because I agree with you. I don't think that she would be the heel Vicky Guerrero in the equation because I don't think anybody really wants to see that right now. Especially because they already draw the correlations to Eddie in every match that they're involved in. There's something, some sort of tribute, and there's nothing wrong with that, by the way, which I don't have a problem with. I just feel like with the constant tributes, Vicky coming in as a babyface, try and steer Dom clear of the Judgment Day. I think that there's something to that. I think that there's something that could be interesting with that. Have her fail doing it too, but
if she can pull off a face run, then I would be interested to see where that goes. But if she can't pull off a face run, then I'm out 100%.
Awesome.
Well, I hope that she's been humbled by the recent news that she's been involved in because it's icky. It's bad. If you haven't watched this Rhea Ripley match versus Charlotte Flair, give it a watch. Because Rhea beat the shit out of Charlotte Flair. And it was maybe the most brutal women's match that I've ever seen that wasn't a hardcore match. They went 23 and a half minutes, and Charlotte Flair just got mollywopped. She took about 3 or 4 nasty neck bumps, and the final move, she got stacked up on the final move. It was rough.
Sauce Boss.
Yeah.
In our baseball episode, you asked what a mauler was.
Yes.
Rhea Ripley's a mauler. That's what a mauler is.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's a mauler.
I think Toddy and I talked about this on a cup of tea last week, or maybe the week before. Saucy take. Going into Mania night 1, I was a firm tag titles close out the show. After watching night 1 of WrestleMania, my take and my stance changed. Charlotte and Rhea should have closed out the show. I think that they had a better match. I know that the main event, which we'll get to, and I have no problem with the main event. I have no issue with it at all. I just think putting those matches side by side, Rhea and Charlotte, the main event of that show. It was incredible.
It was. I wouldn't change a thing. I felt bad for Charlotte, though, because, I mean, she legit got beat up. She took some bumps and put Ripley way over in that match. And
she had to. We talked about this in our predictions thing. In this moment, Charlotte had to give the belt over, and she had to make that shit look good. To solidify Rhea as the actual threat for the women's title, she had to sell the shit out of it. And she had to drop the belt right here, right now to build other women.
Yeah. Chris,
you know that the biggest thing in outside of the match being fucking great was after the match. I don't think Charlotte knew she was on camera. She had a little grin on her face when Rhea was getting her arm raised. She was sitting on the floor. Like she knew that they just had a fucking classic. And she knew I was right. She had to take the beating, and she did. But in the interim, she didn't look terrible, and she didn't look bad in the match. Charlotte looked really good. This was an incredible women's championship match, and what we should have gotten back at the pandemic WrestleMania when this happened the first time. I think that we're setting up the stage for a third. Obviously, this will be the first women's WrestleMania trilogy. They don't soil it with Bianca and Becky first. I think they've hooked up at 2 WrestleManias. I think that's where you go with this. I think that it's one of those that you don't have to go back to right now.
Yeah, no, you take a couple months off
years from now and come back to it, and it will still be as good. That's just my opinion.
it's a good candidate for a watch along. I'll tell you that much.
It is. Oh, it will be. It's just not going to happen right now.
Yeah. Okay, the next match. Let's move on. The next match, absolute stinker. Pat McAfee versus The Miz. So The Miz
is a football player, right?
Yes. So The Miz comes out. He says, "I've got a surprise wrestler. I'm gonna bring him out." And I don't know if the match was impromptu or what it was, but all of a sudden they play Pat McAfee's music, and the crowd gets up and goes to the bathroom. Like, blech. Pat fucking McAfee.
Yeah, right before the main event.
Are you kidding me?
So, yes, it's a downer, but that's what it was meant to be there. It gave you 15 minutes, basically 10 minutes of segment time.
They should have put this match as match 6 and bumped the Rhea Ripley to the next matchup.
Listen, John, you should know better than this because you've been in the business. You just had a hot fucking match. You're not going to want to back that with another hot fucking match. Give it a buffer. Let it sit. The roller coaster.
Oh, no, you're right. They were 23 and 24 minutes. So, yeah, never mind. You're right.
You want to give it the roller. You got to have that roller coaster effect. You just had everybody way the fuck up here with Charlotte and Rhea. Let them calm down because you're about to take them on another fucking ride. I didn't pay attention to it, so I didn't care either way. It didn't make or break anything for me.
I think this was the it didn't matter match.
So the story of the match is that Snoop Dogg called out Pat McAfee as his enforcer, and Pat comes out with this bedazzled wife beater and defeats The Miz in 3 minutes. And the poor Miz, he's hosting the show. He ends up taking 2 losses on the show. Basically, he gets beat by 3 different people in the process.
Jesus.
And he just sells it. He just, does the job. There's no other way to put it.
Holy shit, that is a bedazzled wife beater, too.
It's horrible.
Holy shit.
I mean, McAfee comes out and he sings his own song. and plays along like the crowd is into it. Like, he's trying it. He's trying. He's got a head for wrestling, but I just don't care.
He's great. He's had a couple of really good ones. Say great. That's understood. That's probably not the word. He had a really good match with Adam Cole back in NXT.
Yes.
And he had another good match. I forget who he took on in his last competitor. Baron Corbin, maybe. It wasn't a terrible match that they had, but it wasn't bad either. So he can go, and I think that they're grooming him to do some stuff down the line. But he's this year for the crossover.
He was a commentator for. He was a commentator forever.
For a while. Yeah,
and he'll be back when. Well, I mean, I would imagine he'll be back at any point because he was just contracted for game day, and that's why he left to begin with.
Right.
Well, right, and he's got his own podcast. He's got a lot of stuff going on, but he does have a loose contract still, and kind of does shows every now and then. So he's probably going to be just like every other celebrity wrestler.
Yeah, that's too bad that he's the celebrity that they roll out to get the WrestleMania pop, because he's not, unless you watch wrestling, you don't know who the F this guy is.
Well, football.
And but he's a punter, right? Nobody.
Yeah, but
how many punters can you name?
He made a lot of news headlines. I mean, I can name a few. Stoyanovich, like
I can name one, and he's on my team, and I don't even know if he's still on that team. Like, I mean, he's good at a lot of things, but it's not the guy that you wanted to see. You wanted to see Snoop brings out like one of his Hollywood friends, not Snoop Snoop puts over Pat McAfee. Are you kidding me? Like, it felt like they were scraping the bottom of the barrel. Like, who can we get? I don't know. Is Pat available?
Who has to have an appearance or the contract fails?
I love how Michael Cole gushes over him like he's going out of fucking style.
I mean, he's a good commentator, but they could have gotten a free agent wrestler to come in and get one over. You know, that would have been awesome.
They could have got anybody.
Yeah,
they could have pulled up one of their Legends contracts and been better than that.
Yes, exactly. Bring out the great Muda. You know, bring Muda out, and he just spits in his face and gets a pin. Like,
exactly.
Like, anything would have been fine. They could have brought out, a female legend, or I don't know. It just feels like they kind of missed on that one. What they didn't miss on was this main event, which was very good. I mean, it was my favorite match. It was whatever. I think most people were looking forward to this match because they needed that moment of seeing Sami Zayn finally get his flowers. And he did. Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens versus the Usos. And, man, it was a very good match. And I despise the Bloodline, and I really liked that match.
They didn't go wrong with the match itself. The flow was great. The psychology was awesome. Finish, I felt like, was poetic when you go back and you really look at the story. No doubt in my mind that we were getting new champions here. But I still think and I still feel that after the show's aired, Rhea and Charlotte probably should have closed this show out. But that's just my opinion. I thought Sami and Kevin Owens did great. I thought the Usos did great. I'm not saying that they didn't deserve to go on last because they had an incredible story, but fuck, man. I left night one not necessarily saying, all right, fucking, I saw Sami and Kevin have their moment. I left thinking night one, cut my TV off thinking, damn, Rhea and Charlotte. How fucking good. That was a goddamn good match. But that's just me. So, but at the end of the day, yeah, it was great. That piece of it, night one was overall not bad.
It was very good.
Really good. It exceeded expectations. There was only one stinker, in my opinion, and that was the trip or the the lady 6-man. Everything else was okay. It was okay to really good. You could have went without the Pat spot, but I know why it was there. and I'm okay with it being there because it bought time. It allowed you to calm the fuck down after what you just saw, and get your thoughts together for what you're about to see. Yeah, night 2 was a horse of a different color, as the Wizard of Oz would say.
So we got exactly what we anticipated with Brock and Omos. Omos?
I
Omos?
think I think Omos looked really good in defeat here.
For
He
4
he was
minutes?
very
For 4.5
okay.
minutes, he looked good.
Okay. It's okay. If you thought that you were going to see a 10-minute Brock Lesnar match, you're sadly fucking mistaken. Those are reserved for a handful of people, and no offense to Omos, he ain't one of them. But he was tapped by Lesnar for this match, and I think that he got to show his dominance and his size and his strength. He dominated Lesnar for 4 minutes. Lesnar got 3 offensive moves in that match in that time period. What I will say that I did not like is that after being dominated by Omos, one F5 is what put Omos down.
Yeah, how many times have you ever seen one F5 do the trick? One F5, one.
Several, many times, but you get multiples from like the Undertaker and Roman and
Right.
the bigger names. You had an opportunity there, even in defeat, have him kick out of one. You can even have him give him the second one immediately. But let him
It
have that
was,
one
too.
kick.
Todd, it was the worst F5 ever.
And then you looked at his bounce back on the night after was fucking Elias. Like in the opening match after a 25-minute fucking segment. Thank you. They didn't do him any favors in that regard, but Omos I thought did look good. That was one of Brock's belly to bellies, one of his suplexes. I think he got. I may be mistaken. He may have got 3 suplexes and an F5.
Yeah, something
That
like
sounds like a Brock Lesnar match, right?
It is
I'll be honest.
Formula.
I didn't even watch it. I mean, I had it on while I was doing some other things, and it went exactly like I thought it would go, and it was like,
You're pulling your bud.
what a wasted opportunity to open up night 2. So you come in hot after night 1, and then you open up with that, and it's like, okay, whatever. You just feel like this doesn't matter. The next match, this is another lazy booking, right? You've got 8 women with nothing to do. Fuck it. Throw them all in the same match. And this match was designed to put over Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler as that tag team that should have been together 3 years ago. They get the win, but not a very entertaining match, in my opinion.
This was the worst match of the entire weekend. For me.
I see the chat.
Not kidding.
The chat disagrees.
I'm so sorry. That's why we're all people and we're all entitled to our opinions. I felt like this was a waste of time. I knew going in how this was going to shake. It should have, think that they horribly have misbooked the women's tag team division all the way around over the last several months.
Forever.
They should have never pulled the switch with Becky and Lita. That should have never happened. If you were going to pull a title switch, you had an opportunity to.
And they did.
You could have had them drop the belts to one of these, any of these teams that are involved in this match at some point in time along the road,
and they did.
And make this match.
They did drop the belts because Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez are the new women's champions.
After the fact,
yeah.
Correct.
Why? That could have been now.
That could have happened here on this show. And if you're gonna do something like, I really feel like those belts were used as a prop to further Trish Stratus, to get to Trish Stratus and Becky Lynch.
Yes,
which I think is definitely not the direction to go, and you don't book your titles like that, because I think it completely devalues the championships all the way around. And now, like, what didn't make sense to me is Liv and Raquel were in this match. If you knew that that's the direction you were going to go and you're going to put the belts on them, why are they losing this match?
Well, because they needed to have Ronda and Shayna have a really good showing at WrestleMania because they wanted to make them happy about it.
Right. So here's where this one's going. I think we're not splitting atoms here. We're going to Raquel and Liv versus Baszler and Ronda, and we're going to the belts being put on Ronda and Baszler. I feel like that's where we're going, and
Are you
just
excited for it?
not at all.
No.
I'm not a fan of Ronda. I've never been a fan of Ronda.
Ugh.
I think Ronda's a trash wrestler. I think she's a great fighter, but I think she's trash in the ring. She's been, and I get it. People say, well, she's how long she's been? She's been doing this now long enough. She's been doing it long enough to be able to have a legitimate good match with just about anybody. Give me one Ronda Rousey match that was good.
No, I'd rather. No, I don't wanna.
My point exactly.
Ronda's
Maybe
not
the one with Nia Jax was her best match that I can remember seeing. But I'm not a fan. I think that Ronda and Baszler are put together too little, too late. And they're gonna put the belts on them, and it's gonna be terrible. It's gonna be terrible.
Ronda is pretty terrible right now. She is
She strikes me like she's more of an actor. It's not. It doesn't come across as legitimate to me.
Well, see, that's the problem, is that she doesn't know how to act. She's just a good martial artist, but she cannot connect with the crowd. Her ring gear is terrible. Her makeup is terrible.
Well,
she has no charisma.
That's part of her gimmick, though, is like she doesn't have any of those things. She didn't have any of those things in the UFC. The only thing she had in the UFC was a really fast fucking submission, and she got lucky as shit. But if her matches went past the first round, then she started to fall apart even then. If her matches go long in the WWE, she starts to fall apart.
I don't like anything about Ronda. Her theme song, right? It's the Bad Reputation.
Yeah, I like the way she looks in her pants, but that's about it.
As soon as her theme song plays, I sing along to it, and I go, I don't give a damn about Ronda Rousey. And then I turn the channel.
Yeah.
That's as soon as the music turns on, it's like, oh, that's your cue. Go to the bathroom. Go find something else to do. So that's over in 8 minutes, and then we get a banger: Gunther, Sheamus, Drew McIntyre, which I loved it. I want to watch it again. And I picked Gunther to win that one. We were all split on the picks there. I'm glad that Gunther won. I hope that he stays champion forever. He's too skinny, but I love the match. What did you guys think?
So this is where I fell asleep.
Oh,
and it's
you
not a
missed
knock
a
on these guys.
banger.
I know, and I haven't had a chance to sit down and watch it back. I fell asleep here, and I woke up. I woke up when Cody was maybe 5 minutes left in the main event. I haven't sat down and watched the rest of it.
Well,
I know the outcomes. I know what happened.
Sure. So, for anybody out there that writes wrestling and does e-fetting, you want to really see a good triple threat, go look at this one. Like, just go look at it and see the way it plays out among the three of them, and it was a classic.
Yeah, I think right off the bat, they knock Gunther out of the ring, and they isolate Sheamus and Drew, and you get you get chills at that point. It's like, oh, we're going to get these two guys are just going to go after it, and one of them's going to win. And then Gunther comes out of nowhere to make the save on the pin, and just really good stuff.
That was great pacing.
Great camera work, great pacing. The guys, all three of those guys are obviously very talented, big bodies, charismatic. They're all unique. I'm gushing over this one. I really liked it, and I wanted to like it. I thought it was going to be great, and then I felt like it was great.
Yeah, I didn't watch it. I haven't seen it yet, but I know it's going to be a good one. And I expected Gunther to pull that out.
To me, that was my favorite match of the night. Favorite one.
Yeah, I think that a lot of people have that same feeling about it.
Yeah, that was the peanut in the turd, because the rest of it was not good. The next match, Bianca Belair defeats Dark Asuka, which I cannot explain. I guess they want Bianca to just. Bianca's going to hold this belt until next WrestleMania is my prediction.
I don't know if it'll be quite that long, but they did just get Dark Asuka, and they need to build the character there. So I wondered if this might happen. But I think we had decided that Asuka was probably the favorite on winning here.
Yeah.
But like I said, maybe they want to build Asuka. Maybe they've got somebody else in mind to challenge for a while they get Asuka in a secondary angle to build her up for a belt run. I don't know.
When I woke up and went back and read results as to what I'd missed thus far, when I saw that Bianca went over in this match, my jaw dropped.
Right?
Not a knock on Bianca, and yes, Sam, I missed the Bianca match. Gasp in Spanish. It just it didn't give me the warm and fuzzies.
It was okay. It was just okay. It was like, fine. Okay. We're doing this. Okay. Great.
Yeah. Followed up though with another McMahon quad tear.
That's right. So we get the long-awaited return of Shane O'Mac. And
oh my God, who
he comes out.
Wow.
My wife is watching
Wow.
the show, right? I tricked her into watching WrestleMania. So the Saw spouse is sitting there, and Shane O'Mac comes out, and he's doing his fast footwork, and she's like, "What the fuck is this?" And I said, "That's Shane McMahon. That's Vince's kid." He
said, "Here comes the money."
She said, "Well, he looks like a 5-year-old, like trying to show off for his parents or something." I said, "Well,
yes,
that's
exactly.
not inaccurate. That's basically what you're getting there." So he runs down to the ring. He runs a quarter mile to the ring, hops in the ring, and tears his quad within seconds. And then the Miz is just standing there like, "What do we do now?"
Snoop.
Yeah, that's right. I assume a coast to coast was going to be involved there. Well, that was completely out of the question. Snoop's not going coast to coast, but he's still around. And Snoop steps up to take the match. That was not scheduled. He improvised there, and bravo to Snoop.
From all accounts, Snoop saved the fucking day there.
Yeah, much respect to Snoop there. And The Miz for selling some of the worst strikes I've ever seen in any form of combat. The Miz gets knocked out by 2 punches by a 55-year-old Snoop Doggy Dogg and does the job, counts the lights. And I just feel bad for The Miz, He has a great suit, though. That suit was fire. It was bedazzled, and he looked like the universe inside his suit.
Snoop, my favorite moment was Snoop gingerly running the ropes. Dropped at people's elbow.
That's right. The ropes didn't even flex when he hit him.
I mean, he weighs, 100 pounds soaking wet?
Yeah, more or less. Yep. And so he does the people's elbow. He whips off his glasses and throws them, which was a very nice touch. I hated the match when it happened until I realized that was not the intended match, and then I said, "Oh, damn, that was actually pretty damn good."
That was getting out of a situation quickly.
Yeah, I mean, it proves that he's just a performer. He's obviously done lots of
Oh, I
stage
mean,
work.
he knows how to throw. Yeah, he knows how to run a stage. He knows how to run an event. He knows damn well how to keep the crowd active. Like that's a bet.
Yeah, yeah, he killed it.
He's not the OG Godfather up on that bitch for nothing.
Okay, next match. This is it's not a co-main event. I don't know what to call it, but it was a Hell in the Cell match. Edge versus the Demon, Finn Balor. This was the match I was looking forward to the most. And with Edge winning, it just left me going, what did I just watch? Why? Why is this happening? What did they do to Finn? I was mad. I was very salty. I turned the TV off after that.
I still asleep while this happened. I saw the result and was just kind of like, "What? The same concept? What the fuck?" It's one of those that left me scratching my head. This is one that Balor needed to win. Really could have solidified him. Know that he got cut during this match with a chair shot. That I feel like I've talked to Porter about this match back a couple weeks ago after the fact. He feels like he's read something, or I feel like I may have read something that Balor got cut way too deep, way too early, and they had to cut time off the match, and they had to cut the match short. I don't know if that means that the finish changed, or if it was designed for Edge to win. Because if Edge is going over here, then why didn't Rhea Ripley and Finn Balor win it at the premium live event previous? They had the mixed tag match.
Right.
You put over Beth over Rhea, who is on her road to WrestleMania. So I felt at that point. Yeah, I felt at that point we were at a lock. Get a Finn win here. I'm not a fan. I would have probably cut the television off too if I wasn't already asleep.
The match was okay. It didn't live up to what a Hell in the Cell match should be, but the result is so final, right? Like I never want to see the Demon again. The Demon's dead. This house is clear at this point because Finn was unbeatable as the Demon. In New Japan, in NXT, in the WWE. Then he loses to Roman Reigns in a disgusting match when he's about to finish and the top rope the turnbuckle just breaks off as he's about to deliver the coup de grace. And then this match, he just loses again. Like, I'm done with you, Finn. I hope you're leaving the company because he's buried. He's been buried.
Damn.
He deserves better. The Edge isn't going to stick around very long. And you're getting a lesser version of Edge. Ever since he cut his hair, he just doesn't have the same aura about him. I don't know. I mean, obviously I don't watch WWE week to week, so I don't know Judgment Day and how that's all gone down, but I'm a big Finn Balor mark, and I just hated this. I hated it. And I couldn't stomach anymore. I knew the main event was also going to be a gut punch, and I said, I'm not going to do this to myself. And it was, the main event was a 35-minute match, but the entrances were about 30 minutes themselves. So I'm glad that I turned it off at that point.
I woke up and saw the finish. I cut my TV off when I saw Roman get the win. Didn't even pay attention to the fallout. I didn't care. I just cut it off. Same concept. I probably would have cut it off sooner than that if I had still been awake. Because it sounds like I saved myself a lot of pain and agony. Some things you get right and there's some things you get wrong. And this was, me, it's like, it's a fuck situation. After showing so much promise.
I'm muted at the moment.
No, you're not muted. After showing so much promise, it all went down the toilet.
But you know who won that match? Was it AEW won that match?
Huh?
Because, I mean, it just sucked the wind out of everything that they had been doing. And what they said is, I heard you like Roman Reigns in the Bloodline. Well, good, because you're getting 12 more months of it. And everyone just kind of went, but why? You know, you've got other wrestlers saying, hey, look, I love the Bloodline, but I think it's run its course, guys. Like, I think we got enough.
You know, I'm gonna pitch a wild storyline. Here's my idea. This is what I think might happen. So if they're on the redemption story, right? Cody's got to get past Lesnar, so he's got to beat Brock at the premium live event. He's gonna challenge Roman for the undisputed Universal WWE Championship with the brand extension, or not the brand extension, but the draft coming up. Both USA and Fox want a champion, and on their television show. I think that Cody's going to go back and challenge for the undisputed Universal, whatever the fuck they're calling it.
The blue one or the black one?
I think he's going to challenge for both of them, and Roman's going to tell him, "You're not good enough to challenge for both of them. Which one do you? I'll give you," and he'll be forced into giving a match for one. And I think that that's going to be for the WWE Championship. If I'm Cody, I would be challenging for the WWE Championship because I want to bring honor and respect to a brand that you refuse to show up for. Right? Because you can keep the Universal Championship. I want the WWE, and I want the Winged Eagle brought back. It's the only way they can make this right for me.
Have you seen Cody's custom belt?
Yeah, I did. Thought it was fucking great.
I loved it.
Not those belts.
I'll get there. Just keep speaking. Oh God, it's not that one.
It's not. Yeah, it's none of those.
Those are the wrong belts.
I'll get there. I just talk amongst yourselves.
Championship belt. Custom championship.
That's hilarious.
Belt.
That it? No.
Oh my goodness! No.
There she is.
Finally.
Yes. I mean, I think that's a beautiful belt. I saw some people on Twitter rejected it, like.
I like that belt.
But I think it's a beautiful belt. I think it's much better than the ones they currently have, which look like toys. These are. All right, I'll fill you guys in on a spoiler here. I have a separate video that's going to be released on this channel here soon, and it's called 10 Reasons Why Roman Reigns Sucks. And one of the reasons is because of what he's done to these belts and has made them meaningless at this point. Nobody knows the difference. Nobody knows which is which. None of them mean anything. They probably should be consolidated, but the networks don't want to consolidate it. It's just, they're so bad. They look like toys.
That's part of it, is they've got to deal with toy distributors. It's like when they were stuck with that spinner belt for the longest fucking time.
That's
because they had to deal with a distributor where they had to, a certain amount of years, they had to have that belt or some form of the spinner.
This makes the spinner look like the Mona Lisa, man. These are awful.
It was a trash finish. I read where Solo got kicked out of the ringside area, only to come back at the end and hit him with the spike. It led to a spear, and that's what I caught it, where Solo was jumping up on the apron, and so I was literally up for the last 10 seconds of this match. And as soon as I saw the spear hit and the count, I cut the fucking TV off. I was done.
It just gross. It felt gross. I felt used and icky when I saw it. I was like, this is a joke. This is awful. I hate this. I felt dirty. And that's not how I want to feel after Mania. After night one, I felt invincible. after night 2, I was like, I never want to see this again.
Well, the night after Mania made me feel that way. So that's kind of where I'm at with it. I don't. I will watch what I want to watch, but they have a lot of work to do to get this fan back on board. There's a lot of rewriting of ships that got to happen. I'm not a fan.
Well, good news. Now you've got Vince back in creative control. Triple H is being kicked out, and you've got Endeavor leading the company. So I'm sure everything is going to work out just fine.
Yeah, well, yeah, maybe AEW doesn't look half bad after all right now. I don't know.
Oh, we need to do a separate video on AEW, and I'm going to sell you on why AEW is trending upwards, while WWE is going to be trending downwards.
It all has everything to do with Vince McMahon.
Well, I mean, one half of the equation does. But AEW is doing a lot of the right things. They've learned from a lot of the mistakes they made in the last year. And they did screw up a lot, but they also were unlucky with a lot of injuries and some other things that just didn't work out. So,
well, let's think about that for a second. Injuries. Yeah. How many of those injuries could have been avoided versus how many of them could not? Thank you.
Well, it's hard to say. You can't say this person wouldn't have been injured had they done something differently, because you don't know.
A lot of it comes down to their workload and how many shows they're doing and how often they're on the road, and a lot of the care that isn't being provided. A lot of it comes down to that.
The difference between the two companies is WWE expects you to work multiple days a week, working house shows, working these major events. AEW does not, but the matches that you get on AEW usually are much riskier. So you do end up with some pretty bad injuries, and a lot of the guys that have been hurt have, a broken foot, concussion, shoulder injury. Like standard injuries. The one that Chris is thinking about is from the Ring of Honor match with Dante Martin. That's a freak injury that should not have happened, but that was Dante Martin doing the only thing that has gotten him over, is flying high. Anybody else in that spot, you can't justify it. With Dante, you can barely justify it, but you're right. You're right. Shouldn't have happened. Injuries like that shouldn't happen, but sometimes they do. When you have main eventers get injured, that is what really sets you back. So you see what they do with Roman, how little they make him actually wrestle, and how limited his moveset is.
Yeah.
They're protecting him. And AEW doesn't protect their guys. They give them creative freedom over their movesets, and these guys do things that are unnecessary. But damn, is it entertaining. I respect the hustle, and I hope that they're taking care of each other.
For sure.
All right, so Chris, why don't we wrap up? Why don't we wrap it up here? That was WrestleMania 39. How would you score it out of 10?
Well, night 1 was great. Night 2 was terrible. So 5.
5. Ugh.
Maybe a 3, actually.
A 3?
Realistically, if you have 15 matches, right? How many of them were really good matches? You got the triple threat. You got the Rhea Ripley match. So let me see.
All right, so I thought Austin Theory and Cena was good. I thought that the tag match was good.
Yeah.
I thought Rollins and Logan was good. I was not a fan of the 6 ladies tag. I thought Ray and Dom was good. Rhea and Charlotte stole the show.
Yeah.
Tag match on night 1 was great. Was good. So night 1 was a really good night.
Yeah.
Night 2, opening match, not for me. Even though Omos looked good, match 2, no, thank you. I know that Gunther, Sheamus, and Drew probably stole the show here.
For the whole night.
Knowing what I know with the main event, I would not be happy and satisfied with it, with the finish, with knowing the finish of it beforehand. I haven't watched that back intentionally. Without seeing the Gunther match, I would feel like the Gunther match and the Rhea Charlotte matches were the standouts of the entire weekend. That would, to me, would be the ones that I would look back on. With Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn following closely behind it. But I did, so that I would not have been interested in Finn Balor and Edge, knowing the finish now and knowing that Finn took a pretty nasty bump. Not a fan of Pat McAfee. Not a fan of the Shane situation. So night 2 is a thumbs down. I can do that. I can give you a thumbs up and thumbs down. Night 1, thumbs up, way up. Night 2, thumbs down, way the fuck down.
Yeah, that's fair. I'd say the same. Night 1 was like a 9 out of 10 for me, and night 2 was like a 4. So how do you average that?
I think night 2, that's a little gracious, but
Yeah, I was about to say I think 4 is a little high for me.
A lot of night 2 was just okay, right? It was okay with bad finishes.
Yeah, but that doesn't make a WrestleMania event good. Having okay matches does not do that.
No, as far as WrestleManias go, it was one of the worst nights I've ever seen. But as far as pay-per-views go, I mean, I've seen much worse pay-per-views. It was okay. It was okay, and I don't like the finishes. I would have changed every finish except for Gunther. But that's just me. That's just us. People who watch the show are entitled to their own opinions. And I'd love to hear what their opinions are. I see Toddy's got a lot of opinions on the matter. I know Toddy is a WWE mark, but it's okay. I won't judge him over that.
It's okay. Well, I mean, for those in the live chat, I think we're going to wrap things up. I appreciate you guys hanging out with us today or this evening, and those listening at home, thanks for joining us. I know that we've got a full steam ahead coming this way here on Over the Top Network, and I'm looking forward to doing more of these guys. I love doing the live format. I love our deal on Thursday nights. I think this should be a thing. And just fucking do it. I'll see. What do you want to say?
Oh, nothing. I'm thankful that we have options for wrestling. And although I don't watch WWE, I did watch Mania and was pleasantly surprised. I still haven't watched TakeOver, but I hear it's good. I did watch Ring of Honor Final Battle, and there's just so much good content out there. I hope everybody is enjoying it, because the more options we have, the better the products get overall. So thanks for listening to the show. Thanks for watching the channel. And if you haven't done so already, I hope that you're subscribed and followed and all that jazz. So that's all I got. John, why don't you close us out?
Well, guys out there in listener land, if you haven't already, drop by the OTT network here on Twitch and drop a follow. We are pushing for affiliate. We've got a long way to go still. And while it is a pleasure to share these shows with you guys, we really, really want to push the platform forward. So just follow those links down below to find our Twitch page and to find us all on Twitter. And while you're down there, make sure to hit that like and subscribe. Drop those savage elbows right there on that ding bell to always keep up to date with all the new content coming out here on the Over the Top Network. It has been a pleasure to knock another one of these out with you guys. We love each and every one of your faces, and we'll see you again next time.